Recording live in the Lucky Number 7 Lounge, this is Dine, Drink Vegas, the podcast by and for everybody stuck at home, wishing they were in the land of neon lights and bad decisions. I'm your host, John, also known as the baller on a budget, also known as really tired today, but that's neither here nor there. And you've stumbled across episode number 99, where we're going to bring you some maybe tasty, certainly cheap booze and some very timely Las Vegas news. But before we can do any of that, it's time to bring in the founder of Dine, Drink, Travel himself. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I can only be referring to the high roller, formerly of the High Plains, the leader of the luxury lounge, the king of comps, the Alabama slammer, the man who's always waiting on that limo to take him to his next luxurious destination, or the person to take all his money to send to Ireland. I can only mean Bill. Good evening, Bill.
Good evening, John. How are you tonight?
I am going to be doing a lot better once we dive into the drink of the day. So let me explain the premise, and then I'll let you tell folks what you made, and then I'll say what I made. So for episode 99, I decided that we would pull a bit of a gimmick. There's a brand of spirits usually found in many bottles in the cheap section of your liquor store. It started off as 99 bananas, which were little one-shot airplane bottles full of 99 proof banana-flavored something. And they've expanded to a whole host of flavors beyond just bananas. And Bill and I are basing the drink of the day on this, but we each 99 in our own way.
So, John, I am deeply curious to hear, it's episode 99. What 99 spirits did you use?
So I decided to make myself a root beer float. I got a 99 root beer, a 99 whipped, which tastes like whipped cream, ice and club soda, filled up ye old mason jar. And it tastes like a root beer float. And frankly, I'm gruntled.
So, does Wilford Brimley approve?
I have no idea how much sugar is in here, and I'm not asking. Probably not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no way that the answer to that question makes you happier. So, John, did you try either of the spirits individually, the whipped cream and the root beer, or did you just pour them straight in?
So I've had the root beer before, and when you drink the root beer straight, it is like taking a hit off of the... Bill, you worked at places that had bag in a box or corny kegs full of soda syrups, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's like getting a straight hit off the Barks root beer. It is a very intense root beery taste. And there is also a cheap, high-proof alcohol taste.
So I made a 99 colada. And for that, I used 1 ounce of Florida Caña 7-year-old rum, 1 ounce of 99 pineapple, 1 ounce of 99 bananas, and then I threw it in with some ice and 2 ounces of coconut cream and shook it for a while. And it's too sweet, but it's not terrible. Like, it would have been better if I would have actually properly blended it, but it's not. Sorry, listeners, I need to get a drink. It's not terrible. Now, live and on the air, I'm going to do something I've never done before, and I'm actually going to take a sip out of the mini bottles because this show is all about classy, wouldn't you say, John?
Yes.
So let me try a drink of the 99 bananas. Incidentally, Edwin, my older son, smelled these and said, I guess it could be worse. And Rachel said, at least this isn't as bad as Smurf Bar from episode 11. So I'm going to try the 99 pineapple. That's actually not bad. Like, it's not great, but I don't resent that 99 pineapple. And it's not all that sweet. It tastes like it's a lot hotter than 99 proof, but that's actually a thing I'm going to keep around. I think if I have a nightcap after we record tonight, I'm going to just pour that on top of some rum and not in the coconut, add in the coconut. Now let's try the 99 bananas because that's where they started. And, you know, we believe in tradition on this podcast.
Indeed.
I did not like the 99 bananas as much, but it strikes me that, so they're only 99 proof, and that's much higher than, say, 60, 70 proof schnapps or an 80 proof bourbon, but it's also not some of the absolute fire. Why is that reading so hot to me on both the pineapple and the banana?
Because that is probably the cheapest vodka. It is not 7 times distilled. That is hot, first or second run, high proof vodka. That is
And
McCormick's or something.
do you support my goal of pouring like the half ounce that's left of one of these on top of a shot of just half decent rum after this show?
I probably would say the pineapple, not the banana, but yeah, I would do that. And my wife right now, she's drinking a 99 coconuts and Coke Zero.
Huh. All right. So, this isn't my favorite thing we've made on this show, but it's certainly in the top half. Like, this stuff isn't bad. And I was today years old before I'd ever tried it. Like, I'm glad you introduced me to this, John.
Well, I'll tell you one of my favorite things to do with it is 99 watermelons and a glass of lemonade. You're welcome.
I was trying to come up with a good answer, but that makes sense. So my principal concern with this is it's too sweet, and part of that's the drink I made with this coconut cream. What do you do to tone down the sweetness in these drinks?
So it comes down to how much you blend them. I probably would have gone with the 99 coconuts and the 99 pineapple and just done those two and skip the Coco Lopez coconut cream. I've actually done that before. And instead of going for a creamy drink, I'll do that again with club soda. You can lengthen it with club soda to dilute it and get the sweet out. And the pineapple and coconut flavors with carbonated water is actually kind of nice. It's not heavy on the gut like the coconut cream is. And like I said, you could just dilute with more club soda if you want to knock the sweetness level down.
All right, fair enough. Well, I am glad this is the thing I've tried, John.
Well, I am too. And Bill, for episodes 100 and 101, we're going to go back to what you like, which is different types of whiskey in a glass. So you better beware of episode 102 because I've got a big idea on deck. So
I am officially afraid.
We call that a teaser in the radio business.
All right. Well, John, what's going on in dining and drinking news?
Scott of Idle Vegas reported that the food court at Circus has closed and will be replaced by a new food hall with 8 new and unique restaurant dining concepts instead of the usual lineup of cheap fast food food court eats. So this is going to be an upgrade for Circus. Hopefully some really well executed, unique menus instead of, a Nathan's hot dog and a Pizza Hut or whatever.
So it's at Circus, so I'll believe it when I see it. Let's assume they put something super high-end and fantastic. You still got to go into Circus to eat there. Like, I'm honestly expecting the Nathan's hot dog and Pizza Hut sort of approach. What do you think they show up with, John?
So I think they go mid-market here. I will remind you that Circus actually has a highly rated steakhouse. There are parts of the casino like Slots of Fun that look like a good place to spend time. I have no interest in spending the night at Circus, but if they get a food hall that's at least as good as, say, what Boyd has at the Fremont downtown, yeah, I could see myself playing some old-fashioned quarter slots and catching lunch at Circus. I'm not too good for that.
I'll go with you, but I'm going to need some breakfast drinks first.
I think they can help us with that.
I hope so. Well, in other news, according to a poll conducted by influencer Vegas Starfish, Hell's Kitchen is the most overrated restaurant in Las Vegas, with the Golden Steer coming in second and Carbone in third. Now, this isn't a scientific poll, but she did receive over 19,000 submissions from her 1.2 million followers. So, John, have you ever actually been to Hell's Kitchen in Vegas?
I haven't. The only Gordon Ramsay place I've eaten at is Gordon Ramsay Burger, which I do love, although it's overpriced. It is really good. I've had no real interest in going there. I've known people who raved about it. The beef Wellington's supposed to be good. I think if I wanted to try Gordon Ramsay place for the Wellington, I'd probably head over to his steakhouse at Paris instead because it just has less celebrity buzz, and that's a good thing in my universe.
So I went to Gordon Ramsay Steak at the Paris. Their there's a video of it on my soon to be defunct Dine Drink Vegas YouTube channel, and it was badly overrated. And based on how badly it's overrated, I'm prepared to believe about how much Hell's Kitchen is overrated. I went to Carbone once and it was too expensive, but it was actually quite good. So I don't know that that's a fair inclusion here. Most of the other ones I don't think are fair inclusions. The reason I'm going to allow Golden Steer here is there's so much hype that we've tried to go there the last 5 trips and can't get a seat at all, and it can't possibly be that good. But John, you and I and the guys group we go with most years on Labor Day, like we've been to Mon Ami Gabi, it's great. You and I've been to Herbs and Rye, it's good. Like there are a lot of things on this list. I don't buy the rankings.
Well, and it is just a random fan poll. Scott of Idle Vegas pointed out that Carbone and Carbone Riviera both make an amazing veal parmesan, which is his big dish. He says it's not overrated. I will say this about Mon Ami Gabi. I prefer Alexa, which is right next door, still has a patio. I've had both. Personally, I agree with Mon Ami Gabi. I like Alexa better. The one that surprises me is Super Frico at number 7. My wife and I went to Super Frico. It was an awful lot of fun. The food was good. Sure, it was overpriced, but it's Vegas. What do you expect? Really good deep dish pizza and having performers come by the table is a good thing. Hey, this thing makes you burp like real root beer. Okay.
Well, John, what else is going on, man?
Chris Holmes, who tweets at 710 suited, reported that the former Carlos at Charlie's, located at the Flamingo, will become a tiki bar. We can only hope that the Flamingo will make actual tiki drinks with good rum instead of the cheap sugar bombs that Excalibur has on their tiki menu. Yes, Excalibur, I have not forgiven you. Great space, really subpar menu.
So, John, did I tell you about the tiki bar in the baseball stadium in Biloxi?
Oh God, yeah, I got to see that. I have got to get down and stay at the Bow and check out the tiki bar at the ball club.
Yeah. So when you and your wife go next summer, make a point of going when they've got some home games because it's cheap tickets. It's super easy to get in. But the tiki bar, was it world class good? It was not. But it was also, I think my drink was $18, but it was in a 20-ounce cup. And she made too much, so she gave me the rest of it in an overflow cup.
Oof.
So it is Tuesday. That was on Friday. I think I'm still intoxicated from that drink on Friday. It was $18 very well spent, which was as good as any other tiki bar I've been to. And then you're at a baseball game.
So can I ask, what did you order and what rums did they list on the menu for it?
I don't remember, and the reason I don't remember, something punch, but then I drank it and details very quickly became fuzzy. They didn't have any super high-end rums, but they had several different rums, like different ages and things like that. It looked to me like a pretty typical tiki back bar. It was, I mean, if you're going to get picky about tiki cultures, probably not authentic. But if you want the kind of general tiki vibe and a whole lot of alcohol for cheap, they've got you, man.
It's probably a planter's punch, and as long as there was something vaguely Jamaica-esque, it's something with Demerara rum, it was fine. It doesn't have to be high-end. It's just I draw the line at putting Malibu in your Mai Tai. That's where Excalibur lost the plot.
I don't think they did that. Well, in other news, Chris also shared that the Excalibur has a new pizza shop in their food court, which is replacing the former Pizza Hut, and it's actually pretty good. Slices start at $7.99 for cheese and go up from there. So, John, on the one hand, I want to be offended by $8 for a slice of pizza, but on the other hand, we've all done it. It is late at night in Vegas, and a slice of pizza just sounds perfect, right?
Yeah. And I hope this is good. I will say, and the name escapes me at the moment, the slice shop at the Shops at Mandalay over on the Luxor side, similar pricing. It's a good, solid slice of pizza. Is it as good as Pizza Rock or Evil Pie downtown? No. Is it good enough when you're many drinks into your Vegas night and you're prowling around? Yes. I hope whoever's running the shop at Excalibur is the same company running the one at the shops at Mandalay.
All right. Well, John, would you mind if we go out of order and I read the next story because it makes me way sadder than it makes you?
I think that's absolutely fitting, Bill.
Le Cirque, so we are recording this on Tuesday, August the 18th, and Le Cirque will host its final service on Sunday, August 23rd. So about 2 days after this episode drops, and going to end a legendary 28-year run. MGM says that a modernized luxury concept is scheduled to take over the space in the middle of next year. Listeners, for those of you who've been with us for a while, thank you so very much. And I'm sorry, and I'm going to repeat myself anyway. This just makes me sad. The best way I know how to tell you about what Le Cirque is this. I was in town with my buddy Ryan once, and we had eaten dinner somewhere else, and I wanted to go to Le Cirque, but I couldn't afford Le Cirque on that trip because, it was Le Cirque. And we went in there, and we sat at the bar, and we ordered drinks. And Martin, my waiter, saw me from across the room and comes up to me and addressed me by my last name and says, Mr. Smith, at Le Cirque, we do things a little differently. And then they just started bringing me snacks for free because he recognized me from my 3 or 4 trips there previously, none of which had occurred within the previous 2 years. Like, that's the level of service dedication that place has. And that's why I'm sad that they've closed. They will be closed by the time most of our listeners hear this.
Yeah, Bill, I'm not as sad as you, but I am sad. I've had 4 Le Cirque experiences, 3 that I can remember, and 1 in which I lost a fight with gravity in the men's room and was told that my evening at Le Cirque had come to an end. It is all of the baller, none of the budget. I don't know that I could have ever afforded to eat at Le Cirque again. It really just about bankrupted me. But it's one of those meals that I'm glad I've had more than once in my life. I'm sad at the thought that it's not going to be there. Even if I could never afford it, just knowing it was there made me feel better. So, listeners, if by chance you catch this on Friday and you're in Vegas and they have a table, it's going to cost too much. It's going to hurt. Go.
Just go. So, one last thing. It was always too expensive, but my first trip there was in roughly 2014. And that's when I fell in love with it because it was supposed to be me and my buddy Ryan and my buddy Rob. And they both canceled. I wound up going in by myself. I'm like, hey, do you mind if I eat here anyway? And they're like, yes, of course, which was great because they had booked a table for 3. They were incredibly gracious to me. And on that 2014 trip, it cost too much. But I want to say you could get out of there with wine pairings and tip for less than $300. So very expensive, but not the level of obscenity that it's risen to over the last decade.
Yeah, they have definitely, the prices there have been going steadily up since COVID killed their original New York location. I suspect the ownership has known that the end was coming, and their plan was just to turn as many tables at as high a price as possible and then go ahead and bow out. So many of the staff there have been there the entire 28 years and are legitimately, they were young waiters, bartenders, and cooks when they started. They are legitimately retirement age now. I think the whole Le Cirque gang, at least the OG day one Le Cirque gang, is probably riding off into the sunset with a really nice pension or retirement account lined up.
So Martin, my waiter, and Frederick, the sommelier, and there's one other gentleman there whose name I wish I could remember, but who are all day one employees. Gentlemen, I realize you're not actually listening to this podcast, but if by chance you are, thank you very much.
You will be missed. You truly will.
Well, John, I need a drink, so you take the next story.
So let's jump into entertainment and sports news. Vital Vegas also reported that Mad Apple, the variety show by Cirque du Soleil at New York, New York, will close on September 5th after only a 4-year run. No word on what will take over their showroom at New York, New York. Zumanity, the adults only review, had a 17-year run in the same space prior to the pandemic. Bill, I got to admit, this one made me a little bit sad. This show's been on my to-do list. My wife and I have almost bought tickets on multiple occasions. We thought we had a few more years. I kind of wish I'd caught this one. What about you? Are you big on variety shows?
I am not, but I think what that illustrates is if there's Vegas is very much about spur of the moment and having what you want right now. And if you're in Vegas and there's something you want to do it now because you have no idea if that thing's going to be there the next time you're in town.
Yeah, and I think this particular show just had too much in common with Absinthe and Atomic Saloon, and they couldn't overcome that. I mean, OPM at Cosmo, which is attached to Super Frico, also closed. Vegas definitely has room for these adults only semi raunchy variety shows. I just don't think it had enough room for 3 or 4 of them.
I think that is fair. Well, in other news, Vegas Publicity reports that local singer and showwoman Melody Sweets is bringing a night of horror. No, that is not the same. No, that's a story you just read. I am bad at things.
No, it's not. I didn't read that.
Okay, so listeners, I apologize. In my defense, much like John, I've had a work day and I'm drinking some vaguely defined 99 proof liquor. Let's try that again. And you know what I'm going to do, John? I'm going to not edit that out of this show. People can hear me in all of my terrible glory.
You got 99 problems, but your drink ain't one. Hit us, Bill.
Vegas Publicity reports that local singer and showwoman Melody Sweets is bringing a night of horror-themed music, burlesque, and comedy to the Smith Center on Halloween night. Though Smith Center events are largely aimed at locals, it's a reasonable walk or a short drive from Fremont Street, making the show a viable option for any tourists spending spooky season in Vegas. And John, I am confused by the notion of driving in Las Vegas. I know there's people who do it, but I am not one of those. Is this an event you would have wanted to attend?
Yes, if I was going to be there for Halloween, yeah, I absolutely would go see this. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Again, I think Halloween tonight, I would want to be downtown anyway. People walking around Fremont Street in costumes. I've seen footage of it over the years. It's on my bucket list of things to do in Vegas. And catching a short Uber or even walking over to the Smith Center is really reasonable if you're staying at Cirque or the Plaza. So I think that makes for a good Halloween.
All right. Well, what's next, John?
The Las Vegas Sun reports that Clark County, this is in the wrong place. This is in the wrong place. We're going to skip that story, come back to the casino news. Never mind. The Las Vegas Review-Journal has big news for the development of the Vegas A's new ballpark. They reported today, August 18th, that a mysterious buyer has approached Bally's to purchase and develop the rights to the $1.1 billion project surrounding the new athletics ballpark on the former Tropicana site. And the project involves 26 of 35 acres surrounding the stadium. And the previous plan was to have Bally's provide the financing themselves. Bill, I think this is good news. Do you want to speculate on who the mystery buyer might be?
I don't. I'm kind of shocked that the Review Journal ran a story which basically amounts to stuff is happening, because there weren't a lot of details there. And the other sources I was able to look at didn't have a whole lot of details. But I think that just goes further into the notion of this stadium is happening. Now, to be clear, this financing wasn't for the stadium. This financing was for all the stuff surrounding the stadium. But there's no way they're going to build $1 billion of stuff around a stadium that doesn't get built. It's Las Vegas. They're going to figure out a shady deal to finish the construction. Scott, we love you. You're better informed than we are. You know more stuff than we do. But I believe that the Las Vegas A's stadium gets built and the A's play in Vegas in just a couple of years now.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind about this, and I'm not sure who's buying this. I would love to think it's MGM, but with everything going on with them and a possibility possibly of a takeover, I doubt it is. I just hope somebody builds something cool around the stadium. It may not even be a casino at this point. That's okay. But putting in some dining, shopping, and entertainment around the ballpark, that would be a good idea.
I think it would. Well, John, let's move on to casino hospitality and travel news, where the first story is that the Las Vegas Sun reports that Clark County is considering enforcing fines on platforms like Airbnb and VRBO when they allow unlicensed properties to be listed as short term rentals during major events. This would enforce existing state and local laws aimed at protecting the housing market. Fines would start at $500 on the first incident and $1,000 thereafter, paid by the app and not the property owner. So, John, we've talked about VRBO and Airbnb type things before. Is this a sort of thing you would ever actually consider doing in Las Vegas, or are you always going to stay in like a regular hotel?
Potentially. So, what I might look for is there are some condos and units on the strip. There are places at the Signature at MGM Grand. There are places at Vidara. There are places at Polo Tower that are privately owned condos that you can rent out. And you might get a better deal for a longer stay, or at a time when MGM is milking up prices, you might find a better deal that way. I don't really want your typical 3-bedroom rental house a half mile from the strip. No, thank you. But some of these apartments and condos on the strip, potentially, probably not, but I won't rule it out.
All right, fair enough. I don't know enough about the short-term rental market to make a judgment about whether the policy is fair or not. But yeah, I'm pretty firmly in the camp of I'm just staying in a hotel anyway.
I do think if you have a city where there's a defined housing shortage and you're talking about these units that typically come up for, a 5-day rental or a week-long rental during an event like the rodeo, and that sit vacant for more than half the year, I guess I have misgivings about telling a property owner what they could do with their property. On the other hand, when there's a housing shortage, I guess the city has a community interest in not seeing properties sit vacant for more than half the year when there's people who desperately need a place to live. I get that too.
That absolutely makes sense to me. What else is going on, John?
Well, in a story that could have just as easily fit our Vegas WTF segment, Las Vegas locally, and I'm going to expand on this story a bit, Bill, because there's more news breaking. Las Vegas locally shared the story of the OYO booking rooms under 2 fake names on third-party listing websites, such as Booking.com, Hotels.com, that kind of thing. One location was called Paletta Las Vegas, which I thought should be an ice cream place, and Collection O Las Vegas. To fool people into booking at the unpopular OYO property, in some listings, they even alter the street address of the property to keep people from catching on. Worse, booking listings mention Hooters as a dining option and tout late night wing specials, even though, as we covered in a previous episode, the Hooters at the OYO closed last year. Reviews on TripAdvisor, Google, and other websites show that customers not only don't like the OYO, they really don't like the bait and switch tactics either. Vegas Starfish, who we referenced earlier, has apparently heard negative comments from employees at the hotel who don't like the fact that they're catching heat from customers who are angry about the bait and switch. And Las Vegas locally said there's an investigation going on, but he didn't mention what law enforcement entity is investigating. So I'll keep an eye on that. And if there's any news, we'll update it in a future episode. Bill, is there anything that could get you to stay at the OYO?
I'm sure there's something. I don't know what it is, but whatever else you're going to do, don't pretend to be something that you're not. And if you're the OYO, advertise that you're the OYO so people know what they're getting, right? Like, I feel good about the statement. Don't pretend.
Yeah, I agree. This is catfishing on a hotel level. I'm not opposed to staying a block off the strip or a few blocks off the strip. I could stay at the Palms. I've wanted to stay at the Rio. On that side of the strip, I would gladly stay at the Virgin. I think there's a lot of cool things about there. Oyo is a dumpster fire. It's hot garbage. Never will I stay there so long as that company owns it. I'm just making that statement. They could offer us 5 years of podcast sponsorship and 3 free trips a year. I would tell them no.
Uh, Wait, am I flying in business class for those 3 free trips a year? Like,
It's
how much
the
are they paying for sponsorship?
it's the people who tried to open a Hooters Airlines and failed. Yeah, you're flying in coach, buddy.
Huh. Yeah, okay, fair. So, John, one of my favorite segments on this podcast is where we're going now. Our Las Vegas is a real place news segment. Because, listeners, if you're like me and John, you consider Las Vegas a place you go on vacation, but there are a million people or more who make it part of their regular life. And according to multiple sources, the Paseo Verde Little League from Henderson has advanced to the Little League World Series for the second time in 3 years. I say that partially because it's interesting, partially because I coach youth baseball, and partially because when you're interacting with people in Vegas, whether it is your cab drivers or your blackjack dealers or your bartenders or your waiters or whoever it is, these are real people with real families and kids and real lives. Be nice to them, folks.
Yeah, but do any of the sports book have a line on the World Series?
I hope not. Also, John, in post production, when we've signed off, I will complain about the fall baseball team I'm coaching now and let you just you can start laughing now. It's fine.
You coaching another baseball team? Shocked, Bill. Shocked, I say.
As one of the commissioner of another league once put it, Bill, you suck at quitting.
Yes, you do. Speaking of things that often suck and make us sad, Lake Mead surface elevation sits at 1,039.7 feet, which is below the previous low of 1,040.8 feet set in July of 2022. February 2024, Lake Mead was at 1,076.5 feet, almost 35 feet higher than it is right now. At 10,035 feet, less than 5 feet from where we are, the ability of the Hoover Dam to generate power will take a significant hit. Bill, I am not an expert on international water and land management, but even as a layperson, this is bad.
The technical term is, you've correctly used the technical term there, which is that it's bad. So the city of, I was about to say the city of Nevada, which is a sign I need to drink more. The state of Nevada, the city of Las Vegas, the Southern Nevada Water Authority, the adjoining states, all the relevant authorities are doing as good a job as they can of conserving water. But there's just, I mean, there's so much water that millions of people have to lead pretty ordinary lives. I am worried about that for the long term because I think all of the various local areas have already conserved as much as they can. Now, I will say one of the things which the Trump administration is doing and the Biden administration was also working on was the federal government under both administrations has worked very hard at essentially forcing the various states involved to make an agreement with one another. And that is absolutely essential and it will absolutely help. But at some point, the fundamental problem is that the water allocation rights were set during 3 unusually wet years, I think 1915 to 1917. There are more people than there is water, and it's a real problem.
So, tourists, new rule when you're staying in a hotel and you're contemplating what to do in the bathroom, if it's yellow, let it mellow. When it's brown, send it down.
I'm still flushing, dude. That, yeah. You know what? Some standards.
I'm trying to help here, Bill. I'm trying to help here. All right. On that note, I think we've pretty well beat this podcast to death. Bill, why don't you tell the listeners where they can find more Dine Drink Vegas and Dine Drink Travel content?
Folks, for luxury travel content, please check us out on Dine Drink Travel on YouTube, where we bring you short and focused videos to help you plan your next trip. We have videos of lots of hotel rooms in Las Vegas and more coming up. My trips to Biloxi, my trips to Ireland, executive lounges in the airport, including the Las Vegas airport, and things like the plane flights to get there. You can also check us out on every social media platform at Dine Drink Travel, and the most important of those is probably X, because that's where you can find John.
I'm at Dine Drink John, where I'm happy to talk to you about coffee, about adult beverages, about barbecue, about Las Vegas, about my beloved home state of Texas. And just stick around for watching me get my hopes up for the Cowboys in the first half of the year and then see my emotional meltdown when inevitably Jerry Jones, ragged band football players, breaks my heart yet again. We're so glad you took the time to listen to this podcast. If you've got a friend who's planning a trip to Vegas or an enemy that hates listening to old fat white guys drink and talk, send a link to this podcast to them. Go ahead and post it on your social media feeds. Take a Sharpie into the bathroom and write the URL on the wall. Do whatever you can, do whatever you must to help us promote this podcast so we can continue to grow an audience and continue to bring this amazing, top shelf and free Las Vegas content for years and years to come. Thank you so much for listening, and until the next episode, happy travels. I got like a swirly thing. I think we're recording. I hope we're recording because I need booze.
We are recording now, and I look forward to hearing more about your swirly thing.
Okay. Well, I look forward to booze. All right, let's do this.